Right now, inside every single one of your cells, there's a hidden, high-stakes relay race happening, millions of times a second. It's this incredible, invisible race that's powering your every thought, your every movement, and, well, pretty much all life on Earth.
And that really brings us to the big question, right? How on earth does something as tiny as a cell generate enough juice to run something as complex as you? Where does that spark of life actually come from, and how is it managed without everything just blowing up?
Well, the answer is kind of beautiful. It's this amazingly efficient, lightning-fast relay race. The entire thing, the whole shebang, hinges on safely passing one single supercharged particle from one molecule to another. And with every single handoff, a tiny puff of usable energy gets released.
Now, to really get this race, you first have to understand the cell's big problem. See, the energy that powers life comes from these high-energy electrons. Moving them around is absolutely essential, but it is also incredibly dangerous. An uncontrolled electron, it's like a bolt of lightning inside a microscopic factory. It would just cause total chaos.
So, the cell had to come up with a system, a really clever one. And in this system, the baton that gets passed is that electron. Just a tiny little particle carrying a packet of pure, transferable energy. The name of the game is getting this baton from the start line to the finish line safely and efficiently.
So, who are the runners in this super important race? Well, they're a special class of molecules called Electron Transfer Proteins. And these aren't just any old proteins. Oh no, these are the highly trained, specialized athletes of the molecular world. Each one is built for a very specific job in this race.
First up, let's meet the Cytochromes. I want you to think of these guys as the marathon runners. They are built for endurance, specifically designed to carry that electron baton over the long haul inside the cell. And their secret weapon? It's a special iron-containing group at their core called a heme group that's just perfect for holding on to and passing off an electron.
And then we've got the Iron-Sulfur proteins. So if cytochromes are the marathoners, these guys are the sprinters. They are built for pure speed and agility, and they specialize in these super quick, short-distance handoffs. Their structure, which is based on this little cluster of iron and sulfur atoms, makes them unbelievably versatile for all sorts of fast-paced reactions.
So you see, the specialization is what's so critical here. You've got your cytochromes on one side, the endurance specialists with their heme iron core, perfect for those long, critical chains. And on the other side, you've got the iron-sulfur proteins, the versatile sprinters, adaptable to just tons of different metabolic jobs. The cell, it needs both of them to win.
Okay, so every race needs rules, right? This one's no different. The entire rulebook is governed by a concept called redox potential. Now, I know that sounds really complex, but the core idea, it's actually incredibly simple. It's elegant, and it dictates the entire direction and flow of the race.
And here it is. This is the most important rule of all. The race can only go one way, downhill. That electron baton can only be passed from a runner who holds it kind of loosely to a runner who wants it more. From a state of high energy to a state of lower energy. Every single time.
So let's walk through this downhill flow together. The electron kicks off its journey on a protein, sitting at a really high energy level. Then it gets passed to the next runner in the chain, one that's just a little more eager to grab it. And with each of these handoffs, the electron takes a step down to a slightly lower energy state. That small drop in energy, that's what's released as a perfect, usable packet for the cell. This just happens over and over, this little cascade releasing power at every stage.
So where does all this action take place? Well, it happens all over the cell, but it has two, let's call them, grand finals. These are the two most important biological processes on the entire planet. Respiration, which is all about releasing energy, and photosynthesis, which is all about capturing it. And these two processes, really, they're just two sides of the same energy coin. On one side, you've got respiration. That's what's happening in your body this very second. The race's goal here is to break down the foods you ate, releasing energy to create ATP, which is basically the universal rechargeable battery that powers everything your cells do. Then, on the other side, you have photosynthesis, and its goal is the exact opposite. It uses energy from sunlight to supercharge an electron, and the race then stores that energy away in sugar molecules, creating a power reserve for later. And just to give you a sense of the scale here, get this. Think about the oxygen you're breathing in right now. A staggering 90% of it has one single job, and that's to be the finish line. It's the ultimate electron acceptor at the very end of that respiratory relay race happening inside your cells.
So, how does this tiny, microscopic race end up having such a massive planetary impact?
Well, it's because this isn't just some neat piece of biology. It is the fundamental current that drives life as we know it.
So, the bottom line is this: that tiny invisible relay race is powering you right now. It's the very same process that captures sunlight to grow the food that we all eat. To understand this flow of electrons is, in a very, very real sense, to understand the engine of life itself.
To put it another way, this isn't just a fun analogy. The flow of electrons passing from one protein athlete to the next, it truly is the current of life. It's the electricity that powers the entire living world.
Which, it leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought. For billions of years, life has been perfecting this incredibly elegant system for managing energy. So, if this tiny ancient race is the secret to powering all of biology, could we one day learn to build our own? Could we create new forms of clean energy inspired by the perfect efficiency of the cell?